This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
So this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Pierre Novelli. You can text the show on 81215. Follow us on X and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. I just can't get used to it. Email via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk. Oh, me taters and me fresh fried fish. You can have a little if you wish. You can have it on a plate or on a dish or in a little bit of paper. Yes, it's Cockney Week on
Musical Week on Absolute Radio.
What's your favourite vendor cry? 8, 12, 15.
One I've missed since COVID is Evening Standard.
Yes.
Do you still get that?
I haven't seen them.
Oh.
No, the one I used to be a manager. Any stand?
Yeah.
And it's Stanley got it down. I must have done it a long time, and it's steadily distilled it.
To a sort of bird-like cry.
Yeah, exactly.
A sort of waterfowl.
Yeah.
I once encountered a sort of operatic guy like that in Oxford Circus. Evening Standard, like he was really.
Oh, like
yeah,
is it like the Go Compare man?
Yeah.
I hope not. I hope he didn't have like some bloke who isn't him dressed up, who we don't really not interested in, who sat next to him and made remarks. They've really killed the Go Compare ads.
They've turned him into a celeb. I like the concept of them killing them. Like,
They have.
prior to that, what, you think they were?
I thought they were pretty good when he used to just sing, and now I don't want to go backstage with the Go Compare man.
Are you suggesting they've sold out, Frank?
Whoever thought you know what these adverts need? We need a sort of making of element. Really?
I think when a company gets an advert that resonates, they're so astonished that they finally managed to get through to the public that they just go, right, this until the end of the world. We cannot afford to not have this.
Well, I wonder if they tried to get rid of him. If they he tried to leave, and he said, I'll have to be on there on myself is the only way.
Yeah.
So they consider real me.
Yeah.
Imaginary scenarios that they Go Compare.
No, but there was a bit when they first switched it. He said, like, I am actually a really opera singer, and they showed a picture of him singing at the Albert Hall. I thought that was a contractual thing.
I think that you see the same thing with the meerkat.
Well, look, that's a whole other thing.
Well,
Everyone wants a meerkat.
But they were the meerkat now. They've gone, he's got a friend who's a shark who's from Botswana.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, what they'll have is the meerkat will be with the meerkat, but the meerkat with no costume, saying, of course, I actually do hunt and live life in the wild.
Meerkat with a cigarette.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I do eat beetles for real.
Yes, I mean, this is just, an acting
I always
thing.
think it should be played absolutely straight, love.
Oh dear! You know what? It was transfer deadline day yesterday, and I thought for the first time it finally struck me, and it took years. They announced a transfer, and I actually said out loud, "How much?" Because when you stand back from it, there are average players going for like £15 million.
It is the part of football I understand the least.
What, the transfer window?
No, the amount of money.
Oh, I know.
I don't understand how it can possibly be good value.
Where's it come from?
I don't
It
know.
should be
8, 12,
taken
15.
from them by force and distributed to the poor. It's absolutely insane. We're buying that. It's only £34 million. Just stand back from that figure for a second and think what it would do to your community.
You're saying there should be a sort of 1917 Winter Palace moment when it comes to...
Yeah, I think we should just remember what 34 million quid actually is. It's not Monopoly. Someone's actually doing it.
I don't know where it comes from. You all both have to explain to me.
Well, I don't.
Well, don't go knocking at our door.
We got a Chinese billionaire who doesn't have any money, apparently.
I've got a combined harvest.
I saw them listed somewhere. I was where was I? I was somewhere like Abingdon, and they were listed on the Coming Soon.
The Wurzels.
Yeah.
Are they from Birmingham?
No, they're the most Bristol band that ever existed. Who are?
Sorry, I thought he was lost on me.
They sang about cider and
Did you just think
farm vehicles.
Did you just think regional life?
Yeah, the regions, capital T, capital R.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
I had some television issues in Edinburgh because I didn't see you guys in the last few days, and I had a lovely flat which I really liked, and then the television. Something happened to the television and the Wi-Fi, and the television I could only get on BBC One. I couldn't change the channel, and I couldn't change the volume. Now, if you have a telly when you can't change the channel or the volume, it basically functions as a window. So if there was nothing on BBC One, I turned the telly off. It was like, the 50s. But it wasn't worth calling, the man, because I only had like the last 3 days.
How insane was the volume?
Oh, well, that was it. It was a little at night. I'm very, very caring for neighbours and things, especially in a flat. So I would normally go down a bit at night, but that wasn't an option anymore.
Oh.
But it wasn't like overbearing.
Okay.
Well, it depends what you're watching.
Yes.
Certain episodes of Question Time, or
No, it was the World Championship Athletics pre-show, and then Match of the Day post-show was one of the things, certainly.
okay.
But I had a really nice flat. Probably my favourite flat I've ever had in Edinburgh, and I once had one with a hot tub on the balcony.
And we shared one once, Frank. And
We
I
did?
did your washing for you.
I did, yeah. You did. I couldn't believe that Emily washed my actual pants.
I mean, not by hand. I hasten to add.
Not with a big mangle.
No, but I hope you had.
Although I need one.
Some wooden tweezers. You know the wooden tweezers people use. I hope you had
Some
those.
tongs.
You can imagine using them on your pants, and then the next resident using them on the Barbie. But anyway, it went so that this flat had been so good. It was the last day. It went a bit. I know I'll have to explain this reference, but it went a bit Devon Lock. Devon Lock, I think, was the King's horse that was winning. I don't know if it's the National or the Derby. And it had like about 3 or 4 furlongs to go, and it jumped an imaginary fence. No one ever knew why. It jumped an imaginary fence and fell.
Oh, right.
Now I think there'd be an investigation that something dodgy had gone on, but it was like a strange ghost event. The horse seemed to see a fence that wasn't there.
Oh, right. And so your flat was a Devon Lock.
So the flat was having been leading the field. I mean, something I didn't tell you about how nice my flat was, because I thought Pierre might get resentful.
Oh, and my flat was awful.
I know, well, you
kind to me.
You kept telling me how terrible your flat was, and I thought, I'm keeping quiet about mine. Let me give you a par exam. I said to the man, where do I put the bin? You know, the man who comes round. They're all basically the same bloke, whatever they're for.
That's like, remember that story I told you when my friend was on a flight and you had David Beckham saying to his son, be quiet or the man will make you go off the plane.
Yeah.
What man?
No, there's always a man. Anyway, the
Yeah.
man came round and I said, where do I stick the bin bags? I can't see any bins. He said, no, you have to walk down the road to the bins. They're about 50 yards down the road. I said, why? He said, you can't have bins in here. These flats are a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Staying in Stonehenge.
I thought I won't tell Pierre that.
Don't tell Pierre it was with the house where
not about the
penicillin was
UNESCO.
discovered.
To be fair, my flat was also a historical artefact just, in terms of its fixtures.
I went to Edinburgh Castle.
Hogarth, you painted some drawings.
I went to Edinburgh Castle and the governor took me up to the walls and said, it's a pretty good view, isn't it? I said, yeah, it is very similar to the view from my flat.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Daniel Skipsey has been in touch.
Daniel Skipsey is leaving tonight on a plane.
Well, that might be news to his partner.
Yeah.
I believe this is one of the most us missives we've ever received. I believe it was the Queen Mother's horse in the 1956 Grand National.
Oh, was it?
Is this a reference to what you were saying earlier, Devon?
Devon Lock, yeah. Okay. Fair enough, I'll take that on the chin.
Regarding
I thought it was the king's. I thought in those days that the husband owned all the wife's possessions.
regarding shouted phrases that we don't hear anymore. We're discussing.
Oh yeah, vendors' calls.
Vendors' cries. 292 says, Frank, rephrase is not heard anymore. When I was a boy in the 60s and used to stand on a stool at the Arsenal with my dad when they were at Highbury, a man used to walk among the crowd with a big holdall shouting, "Peanuts, tanner a bag."
Oh,
Peanuts.
how lovely.
A tanner, of course, not a tenor, which is what I initially went, oh my God, no, it can't be that.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be that much. I was telling the team, I'm speaking to you now, listener. I was telling the team earlier that I had a driver this week who said to me he'd been away in his, what's it called again? Fixed?
Static caravan.
Static caravan. Yeah, I love the idea of a static caravan. The very opposite of what it was designed for. Anyway, and he said, I went away and just me and the dog, he said, and it was lovely weather. He said, you know, one thing I didn't see all week. And I said, what was that? With some trepidation. And he said, a cloud. And I just, even in isolation like that, it never really occurred to me that was the pronunciation.
Yeah.
A clad. I thought, how many A's are there in that?
It really
It's
is.
like clanad.
It really is Cockney Week.
It really is. I told you it would be Cockney Week.
Yeah.
And you didn't believe me, Mr. Holmes.
Frank, the barefoot blogger, has also been in touch.
Oh, it's a barefoot blogger. It's the barefoot blogger should take the tune "Barefoot Ballad" from the Elvis Presley soundtrack album, "Kissing Cousins," and
That's a bit problematic.
and modify it. Yeah.
You might need to.
My advice is that the barefoot blogger should have a tetanus shot.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Well, I've got some other
It's
advice.
so hot in this room. I honestly think like we should be sitting with some mafiosi leaders in towels around them. Phew.
It ain't half hot, Mum.
God, it really is.
Cancelled.
Meet the gang, 'cause the boys are here.
It's quite problematic,
Boys
that
to
one, that.
entertain. This, I'm checking it slightly ahead. My brain's going slightly ahead before each lyric. Music and laughter to help you on your way. Raise the rafters with a hey, hey, hey. So far, so good.
Yeah.
Carry on.
That's how you get into trouble. As soon as you think so far so good. Barefoot blogger, vendor shouts. My emphasis was wrong there. Vendor shouts. The newspaper guy in Liverpool. Do you know what they would say?
No.
Echo. Do you
Yeah.
familiar with that one?
Oh, did they
Liverpool
say echo?
Yeah, to which we would retort, "It will if you shout."
But did they say echo?
No, I
No,
did
just
it
once.
twice.
Oh, I was hoping
To
that
give
they
it some
did their
flavour.
own echo.
Yeah, they should have.
Oh, you made them sound wittier than they actually were. Never mind. The Fez is in position. Oh, my goodness, everything's gone so wrong. I'm so hot I can't think. Why don't they come? Sorry, that's that bit when they're in a fort in the desert waiting for reinforcements. That's how hot it is.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
When I came back from Edinburgh, I was on the train and I'll be honest with you, I'm going to up front here, I was in first class. And it had been a long month. And there were some people who'd obviously been to the festival. One man was discussing plays he'd seen very loudly, very much as if he was a critic, and used terms like fabulous lyrical rhythm to a voice. And, the West Coast accent with poetry works. Which I thought, fair enough. So, I hear myself saying stuff like this, but just because it's in a different accent doesn't make it all right. And then there's a phrase he used twice about this play, and he said, for me, there was too much... let me get this right. He said it was emotionally incontinent.
Oh.
And he used that a couple of times, and I thought it's quite good, that, but not about a play, but people who are emotionally incontinent.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So
especially in the arts.
Yeah, well, anywhere.
Yeah.
Get them anywhere. It could be, it could be some thick-necked man with no socks on.
It's true.
Yeah.
Was this man very, very posh?
I don't know if he sounded quite. It just, I don't want to be one of those people who. My least favourite word in the English language is pretentious, because it's used by stupid people to make bright people shut up.
But this man sounded quite cravatted.
Yeah, he was. I think he was a bloke. He obviously did know about theatre, but man, he was. I did think I was picking up. Radio 4 on my phone accidentally.
Yes. Yeah.
My one encounter with it's quite fun when people who, like this guy who's very posh, and he's speaking like you would want him to about the Fringe. It all lines up, it's quite pleasing. The encounter I had during the Fringe where someone really lined up with what you'd expect is when I gave a middle-aged German couple directions to the castle. Said it was quite fun, first of all, to have someone with a thick German accent say, "There is the castle."
Exactly.
I thought that was good.
Take me to the castle.
And then, where is the tunnel?
After I gave them directions to the castle, I said, "Oh, you're German," and had a little chat. And they said, "You have this show?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Oh, okay." And I said, "So it's just there up the left and up the hill and whatever." And as the man turned to leave, he went, "Okay, have fun." As a goodbye. Okay, have fun. But he said this with fully looking away from me, already leaving.
I hope he
quite
didn't say,
liked it,
"Okay, have fun."
Okay, have fun.
Very nice.
Pierre loves the German, though. We were walking through Edinburgh, and we passed the Wurst booth where they sell, various sausage-based foods.
Yes.
And...
the best stall, in my opinion.
Yeah, and he says, are you actually German? And they said, yes. And he was in there.
Yeah.
Was he?
He loves the Germans.
Did you see Harry Kane in his
new guys?
Oh, did you see those, Frank?
What's his new? Not Lederhosen.
Yes, they put him in the Lederhosen.
No, they didn't.
They did.
Did he know, or was he sleeping on the beach and it was done by mischievous boys?
Harold Kahner.
Really?
They looked a bit grubby, the Lederhosen.
Well, he probably played in them, not realising. Oh, God, I bet he didn't Scotch guard before.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Me and my partner, Kath, and our son, Boz, and our dog went on a walking holiday this week. Got back from Edinburgh, I thought I'm going to walk. And we were on the train to Oxford where we began our ramble. And we stopped at Reading. And, when you stop, you're watching people on the platform. I said, I know that bloke. Look at that bloke. That's a celebrity bloke. And they're going, well, I said, that bloke's a celebrity bloke. And Boz took a quick photograph of him. Oh. And I said, he's a definite on the... I've seen him on the One Show. What's he called? He does like, those people who talk about... And then I just couldn't get anything. Anyway, we went on a big search, people who've done the One Show. And I said, he does those like people being ripped off. He does like unscrupulous retailers.
I know exactly.
which I don't think exists.
Sort of Edwardian reality show.
I know
Yeah.
exactly who you mean. He's the retailer's equivalent of the a sort of Greg Wallace type.
Yes, he's got the most modest stage name of all time. He's called Matt Allright. But when we found it out, honestly, people on the train must have thought, why is that family punching the air and shouting Matt Allright? Oh, man, we were so excited to have got it.
I like unscrupulous retailers, though.
Yeah.
It would be good to translate more names of reality shows into
Yeah,
sort of
I was
Edwardian.
thinking about that, like dodgy pharmacists in Diaza Scam.
I like the unscrupulous retailers, the voice they always adopt, which is the same when they're presenting the report. So we asked them for a comment.
Yeah, obviously a bit more
Yeah.
outrage. There's
Go
a
on.
little hint of outrage in their voices. I mean, you know, obviously they're good shows because they track down people who've been a bit naughty.
There's a strange
what I'm
PR
saying?
disclaimer you're giving it.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're good shows.
But man, I don't know if Matt Allright's name has ever been shouted in unison on public transport before like
Oh
that.
well, that's his business.
But it was a special moment. You know when you actually get them. Oh, man, that was great.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Pierre Novelli. You can text the show on 81215. Follow us on X and Instagram. Will I ever get over it? At Frank on the Radio. Email. This is so bad. Email via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk. This is like when those Victorian explorers found hieroglyphics for the first time and tried to work out what they meant. Oh, Mr. Holmes.
Frank-
Oh, I had a very good quote on the news this morning,
Go on.
which I thought I'll make a note of that and share it with all our readers. They interviewed a former American soldier who had been one of the people who'd guarded Saddam Hussein. And he said, well, the thing with Saddam Hussein is he was a real people person. I thought I've never heard that said of him before. Even, I think the phrase died with him. I haven't heard the phrase applied to anyone.
A real people person. You're saying he was the last great people person?
Yeah, exactly.
Did he have that on his CV as his skills? Great with people.
They should never have hit his statue with a flip-flop if he was a great people person, surely.
Exactly.
Do you think that was the hardest part for Saddam Hussein about hiding in that spider hole? Just no one to chat to.
Oh, no. That'd be terrible if you're gregarious.
He got lonely. He got so lonely.
There's nothing worse than a gregarious hideaway. I mean, you're being torn apart
I think
by your yearnings.
I think I went to university with someone called Gregarious Hideaway.
Yes, I knew an American gregarious hideaway the third.
Senator Hideaway.
That's one of your popes, anyway.
Oh, look! Listen, speaking of hiding away, I checked into a hotel this week with my family. Have you ever done this before? It's a hotel. There is no receptionist.
What do you mean?
There's no receptionist. There's just forms. And you fill in forms, and there's like a metal post box, and you put the forms in there, and it tells you what room you've been told in advance what your room number is, and you go to your room, and the key's inside. The door's open and the key's inside.
Some John le Carre novel.
It's like, do you know the
Hotel
event?
Kafka.
It's like, it's like, do you ever watch any of the old TV series, The Avengers? And Steed and Emma Peel would arrive at a village where everyone had disappeared. It was like that. It was the
Where was
strangest.
this establishment?
Well, I don't think I should name
No, but
it.
they're roughly the area of the world.
It was.
Is it in the UK?
Oh, it was on the Thames.
Oh, okay.
We did the Thames path.
Yes, you like the Thames path.
Well, it's flat, you see, because the rivers, them don't go uphill. And they probably do. Pierre's about to tell me. And then the next place we went to, what do you think about this? I got into the shower at the next place, and there was a half-used tablet of soap in there. And I thought, you can't catch anything off soap, can you? Because soap it's clean. It's the epitome of clean. Can you get dirty soap?
Oh, this is very philosophical.
Well, they're leaning much more towards this now,
week
aren't
on
they?
Philosophy Today, can you get dirty soap?
I know what you mean, Frank. In theory, you should be absolutely comfortable with that. Would I be? Absolutely not.
It was clean shaven, if that's what you're wondering. The soap.
Yeah, good.
How worn down was it?
Yeah.
I'd say it had been through about half of its.
Oh, that's
of its
quite
life.
rolled down.
Yeah.
Had it start?
I like Roll Down. He was a very good writer.
Yes, although
What he wasn't actually.
Frank, was it also?
I don't like him much, if I'm going to be honest.
Oh.
Strange interlude. Frank, had the soap reached the stage, which, FY, is my worst stage, when it starts almost separating? I don't like...
No, not when you get that wood grain in there. I tell you, I don't know what the exact dimensions are, but I favour soap generally over the other cleaning rivals, like shower gel and stuff. But you get to a smallness of the soap thing where I think, I can't use this one anymore in the shower. This is going to have to go on the side of the sink for hand washing. It's too small for this kind of work. But I'd love to know the exact size of that. I know it instinctively, but I'd love to put a millimetre on it.
It's when it gets to the sort of communion wafer stage.
Yes.
It will be going straight in the bin, I'm afraid.
Well, it's not an analogy I'm totally at ease with. But yes, I know what you mean.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Walk away, Linda says, from the used soap.
Oh.
The goo caused by water plus old skin cells provide lovely environment for microbacteria to grow. Also a food source for some pathogens.
I don't know what that means.
Pierre?
Viruses.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Linda.
That's great.
I mean, I didn't
news.
know it was going to get so heavy. I thought things have changed since the old cuffs and bow tie days.
Yeah, that is. That's full on, I must say.
Yeah.
But I'm glad, because what I actually did was I chopped it.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah,
I think that's the correct course of action,
yeah.
surely.
But I didn't know there'd be pathogens, and well, I mean, one could argue that is too dark for breakfast. Too dark for breakfast. So,
Oh, Linda, what an honour. Not many get that.
Regarding soap, Simon of Sudbury has got in touch and says, "Hi Frank, Emily and Pierre. When it gets to communion wafer stage, my thrifty missus
Sorry, Frank.
always attempts to stick it to the new pristine bar.
oh, I've tried that.
Have you?
Soap surgery.
Yes, it's like that time that the space shuttle toured Europe on the back of a Boeing 707. It never looks a home there at all.
No.
There used to be a sort of I suppose you'd call it, it was a bit like a gibbet for soap.
I do not like the sound of that.
Yeah, and you'd put it in a cage, in a cage that was too small for it.
Yeah.
Like I remember my brother had an owl in a budgerigar cage, and even as a child, I knew it was cruel.
Your brother had an owl?
Hang on.
Yeah.
Never mind soap.
Sorry, can we just... What the hell? Why do I only just know this? Our Terry.
Terry was a very, very obsessed with ornithological matters.
Oh, so it wasn't for a sort of Athena-themed Halloween costume.
No.
Was he? But that was not a euphemism for he liked the birds or something.
No. He liked actual birds.
So
And
he had a pet owl?
yeah, but he he would capture wild birds and keep them in the house for a period of time. I remember he used to wash a jackdaw. He used to bath in a plastic washing up bowl on the hearth. The water would be flying. I don't know if you've ever bathed a jackdaw, but they really splash about.
Did he give them names? What was the owl called?
Oh, I don't remember if he gave them names.
The owl.
But the owl was on. He put it on top of me and Keith and him was in a bed. We shared a bedroom, the three boys, and Terry put the cage on top of the wardrobe.
With the owl in it?
So other owls would come. He hadn't really allowed for the fact that owls are nocturnal. So the owls outside on the tree calling, and this thing would be screeching in the night. Me and Keith would be absolutely terrified.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
We had a thing called a meat safe.
This is our Terry, by the way.
Well, no, I mean, my mum and dad had a meat safe. If you didn't have a fridge in those days, there was like a metal box, like a safe, but it had little holes in.
Sounds not at all sinister.
And you'd put your meat in there to keep it cool and keep the flies couldn't get through the little holes.
Yeah.
What happened to the meat safe? Anyway, he kept a rat in there in our bedroom. If my mum was frightened of mice, if she'd known there was a rat in there, honestly, it would have been a major explosion.
So hang on, did the rat peacefully coexist with the owl?
Well,
and what did the jackdaw have to say about all of this?
Well, I don't know if he had them all simultaneously. He was like a sort of early Black Country Attenborough.
There was like a sort of line from CSI Farthing Wood. Did they get on? What did the jackdaw have to say about this?
I see him as one sort of Dr. Dolittle.
I think there
he
was
talks
a
to
thing.
the animals. Shut up, owl.
Terry suggested, I think, that the jackdaw could be taught to speak.
Do they speak? Yeah,
I think they're one of the smart ones.
Mm.
I like the idea of all the owls outside at night going, Alan! Alan! He's in here!
We can get you out of there!
They were springing him from the mall.
Yeah.
As I heard Frankie Fraser say. See, I dropped his moniker because I didn't know if it was appropriate.
Yes, I don't know if you can still say that.
No, just call it.
Although, there is still a political party called the Monster Raving Loony Party. When's someone going to mention that?
That's true. They should be renamed to the sort of mental health party.
Yeah.
It doesn't have quite the same
The
thing.
eccentric mental health party.
Anyway,
Go on.
we was in our on the walking holiday. We was in our hotel room in the night, and Boz has got very interesting cards now.
Is in playing cards?
Yeah. So he taught us a game. I don't know the name of it before you ask. And it was Kat's deal, her first deal of the session. And I said, "You're dealing the wrong way." She went absolutely ballistic. I mean, absolutely, and ended up storming off to bed, and that was the end of the game. And then Boz gave me a talking to about, you two need to, if I acted like that, you'd tell me off and all this. I said, but I don't think I did anything. He said, well, you really upset Mommy, And I said, well, what did I do? I just said she was dealing the wrong way. So the next day, Kat said to me, right, we need to talk this out. And I said, well, look, I said, look, I'm all for saying this was partly my fault and all that stuff. I said, but all I said was that you were dealing the wrong way. She said, exactly. You didn't say, what was wrong with it or what I was doing that was so terrible or blah. And I said, no, I meant you were dealing the wrong way. It's supposed to go clockwise. She said, oh. And she thought it was a sort of thoroughgoing condemnation of her entire dealing ethos.
So she thought you were sitting there going, sloppy technique.
The ideas behind it, the abstract thought of dealing.
You hold the pack at a 30-degree angle.
And it was all shotted down and without
Yes, I
details.
understand.
And it was just clockwise and anti-clockwise. But it was a lovely end to an argument because it was, well, that's all right. And I thought if only they all ended like that, that'd be lovely.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Guess what I did yesterday? You can't. It involved
Don't call me that.
King's Cross Station.
Yeah, what happened?
Come on, well,
Yeah.
what's that famous for? Molly knows. Molly's the assistant today.
Is it something that will...
Just shout it out, Molly.
It was the regular annual Hogwarts back to school day.
Yeah, it was back to
God.
Hogwarts Day.
What?
So Harry Potter fans, and I spoke to people who'd travelled from certainly all over the country. There might have been people who'd come further than that.
Oh, yeah.
And you all pile into King's Cross, standing around platform 9 3/4. Yeah. And there were some people there from The Cursed Child, the play in the West End. I met the Ron from it, called Tom Aldridge.
The Ron.
The Ron.
The wrestler.
Yeah.
Tom Aldridge, who I was delighted to see, is a ginger. They don't go ginger face
No.
in that play. And, I tell you who was...
Well, what is it then? Sorry. It's a party at a station.
Well, what happens on September the 1st? It is a party at the station.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've really filleted the idea there.
Yeah.
Not remotely intentionally. Come on, Frank. I want to know about the station
Well,
party.
the crux of it, when it first started, it was a bunch of Harry Potter fans getting together. And I don't think I can honestly call myself Harry. I like Harry Potter, but I'm not. But my son is absolutely mad about it, so I went along with him. It is very fine.
I like anything to do with Jack, your brother-in-law.
Well, yeah,
And his association made me like it.
Yes, he wrote the stage play, my brother-in-law. But anyway, they. There was a bit when there was 4 girls saying, "Oh man, I love The Cursed Child. It's absolutely brilliant." And I said, "You see that tall bloke over there? He wrote it."
Yeah.
And they sort of pounced on
They
him.
go,
They
groupies.
really did go. "Oh." But what used to be a bunch of fans got together because at 11 o'clock on September the 1st is when Harry Potter gets on the train to Hogwarts.
Okay.
Well, to Hogsmeade.
And does he have an owl like Arteri?
He gets an owl.
Of course.
He does, yeah.
I even made the association.
Yeah.
Well, those are the only
And
two
Ron,
people I know with owls.
What has your Terry been keeping from you all these years?
And Ron has a rat as well.
Are you the only muggle from all
I have, no one told me. Family of wizards.
He had a tattoo on his forehead.
And my dad had his special salt spell when he threw a handful of salt from his pocket into anyone who challenged him in the street. The eyes off.
So you're comfortable with the whole Hogwarts vibe?
But what happens is at 11 o'clock... It's actually on the board you get at King's Cross.
Oh.
So it goes up 11 o'clock, Hogsmeade.
Oh, right.
And,
Delayed on strike.
And a voice says the Hogwarts Express is leaving from platform 9 3/4 and all that. And then there's an enormous... Everyone holds their wands in the air. And then there's a massive cheer.
Don't say
there a
that.
bunch
It's a
of-
nice Harry Potter thing. You're making it awful.
There
No,
are
it was,
a bunch of guys from the RMT shouting scab at the wizarding train staff.
So hang on, is there not a train?
I think it was a strike day as well.
yeah.
Oh my God! Should we have even been there?
Does the train not exist then?
No, well, that's a long story, but it certainly wasn't at platform 9 3/4.
Oh, they never
No.
are.
Well, there is a platform
Yeah.
or a train. It's a bit like the receptionist at that place I went to. It's all in the main.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Oh, I met Michelle Gale. She was there as well. She's in the play at the moment.
Who does she play?
She's Hermione. Me and Michelle Gale was once on a table at the Brits with Lennox Lewis, the boxer. And a man came over, a security man, and said, Miss Campbell has arrived with her guests, being Naomi Campbell. And she needs you to move so she can sit at this table. And I remember saying, this is the heavyweight champion of the world. Absolutely outraged. And Michelle said, I'm not. I said, no, not you, him. No, I didn't. That didn't happen.
God.
And
What happened?
he said, well, look, that's the message from Miss Campbell. I said, would you like to take a message from me to Miss Campbell? And he said, no, I don't think I would. Anyway, he went and told her we wouldn't move, and she left.
Oh.
I know. It's
bizarre.
a shock. I think the beautiful get their own way enough in this world.
Yes.
You should have offered her some diamonds of uncertain provenance.
Is that how she operates? I don't know. That's the most South African thing that's ever been said on commercial radio.
She's quite a fan of them.
Oh, is she?
Oh, yes, there was a court case. I was gripped.
Anyway, you can't move Michelle Gale,
No one
Lennox
puts Gailey in
Lewis,
the
and
corner.
dare I say it, Frank Skinner. We had a lovely moment, by the way. Me and Pierre was walking through, I think it was George Square, and there was guys giving out leaflets, and one says, come and see a fringe legend. I said, I am a fringe legend. I said, I've got a mirror at home. But I could tell they were banking that, weren't they? That'll be retold.
Yeah.
God bless, with my blessings.
How very magnanimous.
Thanks, he was good on Mastermind. So,
The mastercraft.
this is what happened anyway. They announced the 11 o'clock.
Oh, this is
train
at the train party.
Yeah, and there was a massive cheer. Wands were waved, and then I went off to the toilet. And I got hopelessly lost. I was missing for 15 minutes.
Now, for those people listening at home who don't quite know the layout of King's Cross, I can vouch for the fact that the bit where they've sort of super glued half a trolley into the wall, that is platform 9 3/4, is a direct line of sight from the entrance to the loo.
No, but I couldn't go to those ones. It was full of wizards, and they take ages. You know,
Whizzing wizards.
Is that what they call
so you know about that time.
That's full of warlocks.
So I had to go to the one in the international station, whatever it's called.
International toilet.
Yeah. Anyway, I was missing for 15 minutes. My family were phoning me. I was describing things, and they were saying, I've never seen that. I don't know where that is.
You're saying, I'm near a boulangerie. It's bienvenue au Bruxelles.
I've just seen a gendarme.
In case you're new to the show, I get lost a lot. Don't worry, it's not my age. I've been getting lost since I was a child.
It is getting worse, though.
But honestly, 15 minutes describing. I can see a cat. I'm saying a big sign saying Camden Council, and Cat saying, I don't know that. I said, well, I don't know. I've got to tell you them before you. But they would when I returned.
Did she say to you, if I'd have heard, said, you're dealing the wrong way?
Boss said to me, it was fine. Me and Elliot just been going up and down the escalators having fun.
15 minutes, Frank.
I know, it was distressing. It's like being Martin Guerre. Do you remember that? When he goes missing from the village and then comes back. Is it the same bloke? We'll never know.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Pierre Novelli. Text the show on 81215. Follow us on X and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk. I think on X now, didn't I read today, you got to give your blood types and
Have you?
stuff. Yeah.
A big close-up photo of your eye.
Favourite colour.
Yeah.
So it's all, I'm glad I'm not on it. that passed me by. So, there was 5,000 people at King's Cross for Back to Hogwarts.
Oh, we're still at
That
the
was
train
estimate.
station
I
party.
can't believe that it was that many.
Okay,
I can.
4,400.
But does that not genuinely...
But what happened? Sorry, I was going to say, Pierre, what happens to the... Let's say I was attempting to genuinely
Yes, that was my question.
travel somewhere.
I think it was a strike day, wasn't it? So isn't it nice how things turn out? No, I heard people in high-vis jackets saying you've got to have a gangway.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll be the judge of that.
Yes. I tell you what, I got my son got a goodie bag and a lovely Harry Potter goodie bag.
What was in it? Sweets and things.
There was some butterbeer.
Sure.
Oh.
That's good. Have you tried it?
It's a sort of intense milkshake, isn't it?
Oh, it's good. It's very good. It's like a fizzy butterscotch. Is how I would describe it. Anyway,
Oh, it's like when a smoothie's been in the fridge for too long.
there was a.
You know when it gets a bit fizzy. the smoothie?
I quite like fruit juice when it gets a bit.
Well, you
fizzy.
say that. We were somewhere fairly recently, Frank.
In
and
Edinburgh, yes.
Frank, he called it, didn't you? You said,
Fizzy
excuse me,
smoothies.
my smoothie is a bit fizzy.
Yeah, and the boss of the place said, "Yeah, the fridge has been a bit dodgy just lately." I thought, okay,
Yeah.
good to know. There was a key ring representing the house Ravenclaw,
Oh, yeah.
which I, by a series of 3 different tests, have been allotted in the Harry Potter houses.
And can I establish, being somewhat ignorant of these houses, is that a bad one, Ravenclaw?
No.
No, in fact, the ring here, they have the slogan here on the key ring. What was that strange noise? Oh, we'll never know. Massive explosion ensues. It says, wit, learning, wisdom.
Oh.
Come on!
It's the nerd. It's
Weird
the nerd
sense
one.
of pride.
Come on.
What's the bad one that no
No,
one
but
wants?
that's
Slytherin.
good, isn't it?
Oh, is it Slytherin? That's the one I got.
Me too.
Oh.
I
We're
know,
both
but
evil.
wit, learning, wisdom. I'm not saying it's the key ring I've been waiting my whole life for, but it is.
Okay.
What's the Slytherin motto? We are evil.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
What's your living the dream key ring? 8, 12, 15.
God.
What about how many
Really?
times? How many
A man
times?
of your calibre.
How many? I'm going to give a supplementary question. Have you ever been complimented on a key ring?
And we
I
don't
have,
count.
actually.
We don't count luxury car.
What about how many times have you really hurt that sensitive bit of skin under your fingernail when you've been trying to open the ring's metallic coils to fit another key?
Oh. They don't think that through, do they?
I don't think it through. What do they think through nowadays? Nothing. Anyway, sorry about that, everyone. But it's like issue with the microphone.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I remember when one of my elderly wealthy aunts died, and my grandfather, I always remember this as a child, he looked at me and went, "Lions over a piece of meat, dear."
I know.
That's what it is like. I thought, oh, little insight into humanity there. Absolute Radio.
Yes, it's and then the Radish Soap Company, who
Oh, yeah?
occasionally send me fabulously scented soap.
Are you doing a collab?
They send you scents.
They send me soap. It's
frankincense.
It's got name. They do comedy names like the show. I'm gonna have a look. Let's see what we got. Let's get.
What are they referencing?
I'm gonna get a tablet out here. So, for example, I can't read that one. Flying ant soap,
Oh yeah.
which you really hope. And it says soap for believers underneath.
Frank's turned into some sort of influencer. So,
Yeah.
hey guys,
I just
I'm
wanna
doing an unboxing for you guys.
I just want to do me thank yous.
I know.
And someone sent me, actually it'll be the publishers, sent me Tie Fights by Don Patterson. Don Patterson is a brilliant poet who has written an autobiography, which I'm told is brilliant. But I still didn't want to pay for it. And now here we are.
Is the poetry podcast.
He waits. Whee! Poetry podcast. When I was out to the back to Hogwarts, a guy went past and pointed at his phone. He was actually listening to it as he went past.
Does that make you very happy? I imagine
Yes,
it would.
it did make me very happy. What with that and my Ravenclaw keyring, it was quite a day.
Not to mention the
Quite a
wizards
day.
in the toilet.
Yes, oh God, and all the Ron and Hermione's. There was some great cosplay.
Oh, were there?
I love a bit of cosplay.
Yes, I do.
I always dream when I go to Comic-Con I will cosplay. But, you know, when you're an old man, you can only be Pa Kent, who adopted Superboy. That's all I've got left.
Who's Marlon? Oh, is that Marlon
Pa
Brando?
Kent sort of Midwest farmer outfit.
Oh,
with
it's not
those
Marlon Brando.
spectacles.
You could go as Marlon
No.
Brando from Superman. He's lovely, the sort of dress from the future, silver cape, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe I could go. I hadn't thought of that.
And the
Marlon
lovely
Brando.
white hair. Do you remember that?
Good luck, Jarrell. and look, take care of yourself. Yeah, I
It
could
was
do that.
one of the most famous. He got $1 million for 7
Oh
lines or
man,
something.
they really went on about how much money. What's the most famous salaries?
I think Marlon in the Superman is in the top 5.
8,
wasn't
12, 15. People who've had most talk about their salaries.
it? Yeah.
Jonah Hill got like a sort of equity
Who?
minimum.
Oh, you know him, Frank.
You
I don't know. Who's Jonah Hill?
From Wolf of Wall Street and Superbad, and
Haven't seen
he's a
any of
short,
that.
rotund man with curly hair.
Yeah,
He does
you
lots
will
of
know.
comedy
If you
films.
can still last time, if you can still say that.
I don't know if I can still say it because I think he might have lost a lot of weight. But anyway,
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he's been
he was so keen to work with DiCaprio on, it might have been Wolf of Wall Street, I'm not sure, that he accepted the sort of union minimum for the part, even though he was a A-list celebrity.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Very
Sometimes
little.
they do. Sometimes they do.
Who was it? Oh, someone told me. Can this be true? My son told me that Tom Holland, when he first played Spider-Man, got 10 grand for that movie.
Did he?
But I hope he got some percentages on the back end.
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't tell in that outfit.
Oh my God, Frank.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, may I briefly share this with you from Ultra Magnus, one of our regulars, Morning Magnus. I lost my wedding ring, and while waiting for a replacement, I slipped a keyring coil on its place.
Oh,
Old Ma Magnus was none the wiser
really?
until the day before the new one arrived. Oh dear. I don't know what happened. I hope they resolved it.
I am reminded of the time. People at after dinner speakers. I saw Betty Boothroyd do an after dinner, and she said, "I'm reminded of the time." And I thought, "You're not reminded; it's on your notes." That's what's reminding you. Anyway,
Magnus would like to add. Oh, sorry, Frank.
No, let Magnus add first.
Let Magnus. Magnus would also.
That's my Latin motto.
I was going to say.
Let
De
Magnus
Magnus
add.
That's your Hogwarts. Arnold Schwarzenegger, talking of famous salaries or infamous salaries, was paid $21,428 per word in Terminator 2.
I didn't know that.
No, it doesn't.
This
speak
was
about
up from $4,400 per word in the Terminator.
I don't know if that was a headline salary.
No.
Not an hour.
Well, sounds like a nice one for you.
What was my most embarrassing moment with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I mean, there are so many to choose from.
when he
How
asked
can
you
we
to
narrow
when he
it
asked
down?
you to spot for him.
He offered me a low 5, which I'd never seen before.
Oh.
So I did a very stooped sideways handshake.
Oh no, Frank! How embarrassing!
It was really embarrassing.
What are you doing down
it
there?
was kind of. It was like, oh, that's unusual.
He said that a lot.
Oh
I
man.
found him as surprisingly attractive when I met. Did you?
No.
Oh, okay.
He said, it's hot in here, and about 3 people appeared with tissues and started mopping his face, and he talked as if he hadn't even noticed it was happening. Like a pit
gosh.
stop.
Like a-
People were all over him dabbing.
Like a
I don't
fair.
mean dabbing, as
Yeah.
in, they weren't doing that.
Like a pharaoh. It's the sort of thing that would happen
We'll
to a
do
pharaoh.
it. No way you're dabbing. It won't help at all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Frank, I need to discuss something with you this morning.
Not on air.
I
Told you
really-
never call me at the office.
This is most pressing
Okay.
because there is a feudal title up for grabs, which I
Oh,
think
yes.
may be of serious interest to someone in this studio.
You bet your sweet bippy.
Especially now that you are a titled man.
Well, yeah.
Entitled, I think you'll find.
All right.
Not remotely entitled, may I say. But
Well.
this is going up for auction in Birmingham next month, and it is, Pierre?
I think it's this month.
Oh, is it
actually.
this month?
The
Go-
lordship of the manor of West Bromwich.
I mean, come on.
Frank, how
Come
much
on.
is it? It's 20 big ones.
Yeah, but those holding prices, or whatever they call them,
Yeah.
there's often nothing like that. It says 20 grand, doesn't it?
This is the reserve, yeah.
Which is obviously loot. Is it hereditary?
What do you mean?
I think it is.
I mean,
Oh, would you be able to pass
would
it on to
Bos be
Bos?
Lord of West
Yeah.
Bromwich as well?
What I like is that the article phrases it in a way that I have to read in an American accent, which is one of the oldest genuine English nobility titles.
Genuine!
Doesn't sound remotely snide or suspicious.
Exactly.
I must admit, though, I am slightly tempted by it. One thing,
Lord of the Manor, Frank.
yeah, it says you get some fishing and mining rights.
Yeah.
And you get waste rights as well. You get
Yes.
rights to people's waste.
Can claim the waste
it's
of
I
the
don't
land.
want people's wastes in West Bromwich.
That's rather regionalist.
No, it's all right though. It's all right if you're local.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
So
Can I say, by the way, I had a lovely letter from John Fish, who works for the Abba Voyage people, and was very pleased that we enjoyed it so much. Me and my family have become a complete Voyage family. Kat's been twice, and he's planning to go again.
Who's she? I might have to go to. Is it? You recommend this, don't you?
Well, I'm not even like one of those ABBA people. They were the Evil Empire when I was growing up, listening to heavy metal bands. But it is, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
Do you think for reluctant visitors they could offer a service where you yourself are hologrammed in with your family or partner if you don't want to go?
Yeah,
They could turn and look and see you there as if you were really there enjoying it.
expensive. I'm not putting on an Andy Serkis suit. It'd be easier to just go. No, it is.
I might
Like
go
I
then.
said, when that bit where they say thank you for the joy we're bringing, and you look around and you think they actually do bring joy.
Yeah. And
When I was at Pierre's gig, I thought the same thing.
Though they don't let my hologram.
When I was
But
at
he looked
my
like
gig,
Benny.
I looked around and thought joy is a bit of an understatement. Anyway,
Ecstasy.
Lord of West Bromwich, I quite fancy. My birth certificate says born in the town of West Bromwich, in the district of West Bromwich, in the borough of West Bromwich.
Does it?
Honestly says that. It's stamped West Bromwich 3 times. I was born to be the Lord.
Yeah. And it would mean as well that
Born to be the Lord.
if you went to West Brom and came into, say, any room particularly, and they went, oh, here he is, Lord of the Manor, they'd be correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
But
more
it's
sarcasm.
it's an Anglo-Saxon title. So
Yeah.
And you'll remember that.
for me, a combo of Anglo-Saxon and West Bromwich, it's honestly so far up. It's like when Cowboys and Aliens came out. I couldn't believe my luck.
I've got to be honest, when I was reading about this, there was
Yeah.
a moment, Pierre, where it got to the bit in the article and it said famous citizens who might be tempted include, and then there was a colon, and I felt stiff with stress when I got to that colon.
My colon is stiff with
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
So who's going to hit that ball?
There it goes.
I knew. But because I thought, you know what I thought? I thought, oh, please let it be Frank. Please let Frank be first. And do you know what? To my utter joy, it said, include Frank Skinner,
Yes.
Followed
Well, I mean,
by-
like I say, I was actually born there.
Robert Plant,
Robert Plant, I think he's Wolverhampton. He can't.
Cat
he can't
Deeley.
have it. I don't know where Cat Deeley's from.
and Denise Lewis. Major
Maybe. I
media.
think she's Birmingham. I could be wrong. Didn't mention Adrian Chiles.
No.
Now the mighty have fallen.
These are the pretenders to your throne. You're saying Adrian Chiles is a Bonnie Prince Charles. He's sort of across the sea.
I was with Adrian in Edinburgh, and a bloke said, "Golden age of ITV football." Brilliant.
That's quite a thing to have shouted at you from
It is.
across,
No one's ever shouted that at me.
across a square.
Golden Age of... Is that the follow-up to the Golden Age of Elizabeth?
Yes. And finally, Frank, you'd have a right to all that waste.
I know. Well, you know, when you say that, though, I once went to... Have you ever been to a council tip?
Yes.
One
Is
imagines...
that like the dump?
Yeah.
Town dump?
Yeah. Soln's Stig. When I got there...
Stig?
Stig...
Did he have his helmet on?
When I got there, my mate said, "I got to get rid of this 3-piece suite. Will you come with me down the dump?" And I said, "Yeah." And I imagine seabirds is what I thought would be there. And when I got there, we parked the van and we started getting the sofa off. Get the heavy stuff first, a la Laurel and Hardy. And these two blokes started helping us. I thought, that's lovely, helping us. They just helped it. We put it just straight onto their van.
Just took it away.
Never actually touched. We just loaded the 3-piece onto their van, and it never touched the tip. Never. Only the tip's airspace was occupied by the 3-piece suite.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
But now here's a good question. What would you...
Well, we'll be the judge of that. Thank you very much.
What would be the formal regalia that you would don as Lord of the Manor of West Bromwich, do you think?
Oh, it's got to be a cape, Frank.
Chains.
Yes.
Well, I think you'll have no trouble getting hold of those. The friends in the S&M community.
Chains, locks, a big sort of pork scratching hat.
They used to... the thing is, there is a dispute about whether West Bromwich is actually in the Black Country, which is a big thing, because lots of the West Bromwich merchandise includes the phrase Black Country.
West Bromwich merch.
Well, I mean West Bromwich Albion merchant.
Yeah.
But there used to be a man known as the Black Country preacher, Wesley Perrins, who went round the schools. He never actually came to ours, but a friend was telling me that when he was at his school, I don't know if you'll be able to understand this, but if you don't, just stop me. And he says, some people say as West Bromwich is in the Black Country, but yo mark my words, it ain't. Is what he said.
Gosh. So, in other words, you'd be purchasing the lordship of a disputed territory.
Well, exactly, yeah.
Oh, it doesn't end well from history.
Well, the good news is, though...
But Lord of West Bromwich,
I'd
that
love
would
it.
be something.
What about Kath, Lady West Bromwich?
Oh, well, yeah. You know, when I toyed with... You know, my birth name was already taken by an equity member, so I couldn't use it professionally, so I adopted Frank Skinner. And if there's anyone out there who wants to adopt Frank Skinner, I am an orphan, Mr. Holmes.
There is someone that worked in films. I remember you showing once on one of your chat shows.
When I interviewed Alice Cooper, the first thing he said was, you know there's a Frank Skinner who did all the music for the old black and white Frankenstein and Dracula movies. Anyway, what was I saying?
Oh, I don't know. I interrupted and ruined it all.
The equity thing, names.
Yes.
Oh, yes. So one of the names I toyed with was Where's Bromwich.
God, I'm so glad you didn't
I know
do that.
I can't believe that.
It would have really dated you, that. It's a very 80... Do you know what I mean? It would have been so wrong.
Yes. Do you think everything would have gone wrong?
Very dawn of alternative comedy.
Yes, it was.
Hands, feet or something, you know.
Yeah. So, yeah, there was a lot of those. There was...
and the late and great Ian Cognito as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Matt Welcome, you remember him?
Very good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you see what I mean?
There was a DJ called Robin Banks. Do you remember him?
Yes. Yeah.
That might have been his real name. I don't know.
Frank, I've seen your crest as well.
Always wear the stocking over his head. You've seen my crest?
Yeah.
No. That's iron filings I spilt on my T-shirt.
Das ist verboten. And it's really quite respectable.
What do you think of Gaude Tentamine Virtus, which is the slogan of the Lord of West Bromwich?
Oh, what is it?
Strength rejoices in the challenge.
It's a bit the sort of thing
Wouldn't say
Jacob
that was
Rees-Mogg
true.
would say.
Yeah,
isn't
but
it?
I've never really
Well,
rejoiced
of course,
in the
strength
challenge.
rejoices in the challenge. Oh, you like a challenge? You work with me.
Well,
What would you?
Aye.
What would you change the motto to? We am Black Country. We.
I can hear the voice of Wesley Perrins from beyond the grave.
I think you should change it to I'm having that in Latin.
Yes. And the next episode of Frank Skinner's Poetry Podcast will be out Wednesday. Robert Browning, come on, My Last Duchess, you can't go wrong. And you can download it from wherever you get your podcast, ! It says on here. I'm very, how does one voice an exclamation? Download it from wherever you get your podcast.
Yes. Horrible zaniness.
Horrible Zaniness the Third. That was that American kid I went to school with.
Sounds like one of the popes.
Zaniness the Third.
You're worshipful. Your eminence.
Well, you wait, Lord of West Bromwich. I'll get some damn respect round here. Or I'll bring in me toxic waste. I've got a bit of a toxic waste. Anyway, look, if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.